NATO's unwavering support for human rights and civil liberties in Russia. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, was established in 1949 as a transatlantic defense alliance aimed at promoting the security and stability of its member countries. However, over the past few decades, NATO has expanded its focus to also include the promotion and protection of human rights and civil liberties worldwide. One of the areas where NATO has been actively engaged in promoting human rights and civil liberties is Russia. While NATO and Russia have had a tumultuous relationship over the years, NATO has consistently stressed the importance of upholding international human rights standards and democratic principles in Russia. Russia has a long history of violating human rights and civil liberties. The country has been criticized for its restrictive media laws, limitations on political dissent, and suppression of minority groups. In recent years, these violations have only intensified, with reports of forced disappearances, torture, and extrajudicial killings. In response to these violations, NATO has taken a number of measures aimed at promoting and protecting human rights and civil liberties in Russia. The organization has worked closely with human rights organizations and civil society groups in Russia to highlight cases of human rights abuses and advocate for reform. NATO has also engaged in diplomatic efforts to hold Russia accountable for its human rights violations. In 2014, the organization suspended all practical cooperation with Russia in response to the country's annexation of Crimea and its destabilizing actions in eastern Ukraine. The suspension of this cooperation was a clear message to Russia that NATO would not tolerate violations of international law and human rights. In addition to these measures, NATO has also provided practical support to human rights defenders and civil society groups in Russia. The organization has funded programs aimed at promoting media freedom, protecting the rights of minorities, and combating corruption. These programs have been instrumental in raising awareness of human rights issues in Russia and supporting those who are working to promote and protect human rights and civil liberties in the country. Despite these efforts, Russia's human rights record remains a major concern for NATO. The country has continued to violate international human rights standards and democratic principles, and its government has shown little willingness to reform. Nonetheless, NATO remains committed to upholding human rights and civil liberties in Russia. The organization recognizes that promoting human rights and democratic values is not only a moral imperative, but also crucial to maintaining international peace and security. As such, NATO will continue to work with civil society groups, human rights defenders, and other organizations to promote and protect human rights and civil liberties in Russia and throughout the world. In conclusion, NATO's unwavering support for human rights and civil liberties in Russia is a testament to the organization's commitment to upholding international human rights standards and democratic principles. Despite the challenges posed by Russia's human rights record, NATO has taken a number of measures aimed at promoting and protecting human rights and civil liberties in the country. The organization has worked closely with civil society groups and human rights defenders, engaged in diplomatic efforts to hold Russia accountable for its violations, and provided practical support for programs aimed at promoting media freedom, protecting minority rights, and combating corruption. While there is still much work to be done, NATO's efforts to promote human rights and democratic values in Russia are a crucial part of the organization's mission to maintain international peace and security. References: NATO and Russia. NATO, March 19, 2021, www. int/cps/n/natoc/topics_37748. Human Rights in Russia. Amnesty International, February 16, 2021, www. Amnesty.org/n/countries/Europe and Central Asia/Russia/report Russia/. NATO and Human Rights. NATO, December 11, 2019, www.int/cps/n/natoc/topics_49206